Please let us know when we are going live. I think in exact 2 minutes
Live.
we should be live.
Nivedita, we are live now.
We are. Okay, great.
Okay.
Prashant, you can record when you want. I think it's paused right now.
Is Mr. Richard also joining us?
Yes.
Has he joined? Okay.
Namaste all. Hello everyone. मेरा नाम राजू केंद्रे. आई एम फाउंडर एंड सीईओ एट एकलव्य. आज मुझे बेहद खुशी हो रही है कि एकलव्य इंडिया मूवमेंट के प्लेटफॉर्म पे ब्रिटिश हाई कमीशन ऑफिस से मतलब सुप्रिया मैम और रिचर्ड सर हमारे साथ ज्वाइन हो चुके हैं, जो चेवनिंग स्कॉलरशिप प्रोग्राम के बारे में हमारे साथ 1-1.5 घंटा बातचीत करेंगे, डिस्कशन करेंगे, पीपीटी भी शेयर करेंगे. तो मेरे साथ रिचर्ड सर और सुप्रिया मैम के अलावा मेरे दोस्त निवेदिता और मंजर भाई भी है, जो ड्यूरिंग इंटरव्यू प्रोसेस चेवनिंग का एक मतलब दोस्त हो गए. और मैं मतलब बहुत प्रिविलेज मानता हूँ कि मैं इसके लिए एफसीडीओ, चेवनिंग इंडिया टीम और ब्रिटिश गवर्नमेंट का धन्यवाद देता हूँ कि मैं इस बड़े ग्लोबल नेटवर्क का, ग्लोबल फैमिली का पार्ट बन गया हूँ. और ये मेरे अलावा लाखों फर्स्ट जनरेशन लर्नर के लिए एक उम्मीद है. मैं सुप्रिया मैम को इंटरव्यू के दौरान ही बात किया था कि मैम प्लीज़ आप हमारे मतलब जब अगला प्रोसेस शुरू होगा तो आप हमारे प्लेटफॉर्म पे आके बातचीत करेंगे. तो शायद मैम का भी पहला सेशन है ऑफिशियली ये चेवनिंग इंडिया के स्कॉलरशिप के बारे में. तो बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. मैं अभी निवेदिता को रिक्वेस्ट करता हूँ कि अगला सेशन प्लीज कोऑर्डिनेट करें. धन्यवाद. थैंक यू.
You are on mute, Nivedita.
Mute.
I'm sorry. Thank you, Raju, for organizing the session and the entire Eklavya team for putting this together. And many thanks to the senior officials of the British India who have agreed to join us today. I would like to introduce the panel before we begin today's session. We are joined by Mr. Richard Barlow, who is the head of the Political and Bilateral Affairs Division of the British High Commission, New Delhi. We are also privileged to be joined by Ms. Supriya Chawla, who is the head of the Chevening India Scholarship Programme. The objective of today's session is to maximize the outreach of the Chevening Scholarship Programme so that more and more people become aware of the merits of the scholarship program and also know and understand how to approach the application process. Our endeavor is to reach out to the youth in India as well as to the global community who aspire to make a positive change in society, and how the Chevening Scholarship Program can enable them in that pursuit. Without further ado, now I would like to request Mr. Richard Barlow to kindly apprise the audience about the ongoing bilateral engagements between the Government of India and the Government of the UK, which may be relevant for the Chevening applicants this year. Over to you, sir.
बहुत धन्यवाद निवेदिता और नमस्ते देवियों और साजनों. और मुझको अफसोस है कि आज मेरा कैमरा अच्छी तरीके से नहीं चल रहा है क्योंकि मैं मेरा पर्सनल फोन इस्तेमाल कर रहा हूँ. लेकिन किसी वजह से तो मेरे लिए बड़ा प्लेजर है कि मैं आज आपसे कुछ बातचीत कर सकता हूँ. और कितने लोग ऑडियंस में है राजू? तो जानकारी के लिए कितने लोग चैनल में अभी है?
86.
186 है सर, YouTube लाइव.
186.
86.
तो बड़ा संख्या है, बहुत अच्छी बात है. So I'll move into English, but my name is Richard and I'm head of political and bilateral affairs. And I firstly do want to give a shout out to Raju Kendre and to Eklavya for this initiative, because it's so important to us with Chevening that we spread the word, that we widen the socioeconomic base of applicants, that we ensure that every person in India out there who wants to and has the right skills has the opportunity to come and study in the UK as a guest of the British government. And you're part of the solution in helping us to spread the word. So thank you so very much. It's a really meaningful event for us today. And Chevening really is one of the most, it's one of the things we're most proud of in the British High Commission. It's a scholarship scheme that's been running for over 35 years. We've got over 3,000 alumni in India. Raju, you've done brilliantly to get on the scheme. You are joining people like Amitabh Kant, Gajendra Shekhawat. We've got senior Facebook executives, very senior journalists, and many, many more from India who've been on one of our Chevening schemes. And in the UK, we've got 4 of the world's top 10 universities. We think our education offer is so strong, and we really do want to attract even more Indian students to the UK and UK students here to India. And it's a moment when our relations are growing and going from strength to strength. And that's supported by a very strong and positive relationship between our prime ministers, who met virtually in May and agreed to a 10-year roadmap. That's pretty ambitious for countries like ours, and with lots of commitments on climate, on education, on jobs, on growth, on sustainable livelihoods, all of the issues that matter to us and our friends, young people in both our countries. And we're now in a phase where we're delivering on this program. And we have a lot of exciting things coming around the corner in the near future. We're going to negotiate a free trade agreement with India. We've recently changed our visa rules so that Indian students who study for postgraduate courses in the UK can then stay on and work afterwards. We've got our new aircraft carrier, the Carrier Strike Group, arriving in Indian waters and in Maharashtra in October. And of course, we've got the cricket. We've got India and England currently playing in the cricket. And I want to take that opportunity to also congratulate India for your wonderful Olympic gold medal tally, gold, silver and bronze medal tally, the best that you've ever had, a moment of great pride for India. And, we're sharing that pride because we know that between our countries, we've got all these bonds of sport, of food, of culture, of movies, and of people. And that's what it all comes down to. And today's event helps us to strengthen those people bonds even more. So once again, thank you so very much. And I'll pass back to Raju.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Nivedita?
Thank you, Mr. Richard, for that insightful information. Now, I would like to request Supriya ma'am to kindly talk in detail about the Chevening Scholarship Programme so that our viewers today can learn more about the application and how to approach the Chevening Scholarship application. And before you begin, I would like to request the viewers today to kindly drop their questions in the comment section. And we encourage you to ask questions that are not already mentioned in the PPT so that we can take them separately. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Nivedita, and thank you, Richard, for that wonderful introduction. Namaste and good afternoon. I'm Supriya Chawla, and I work with Richard, and I'm the head of Chevening, and I'm also based at the British High Commission in New Delhi. Thank you for taking the time out and attending this session. I hope it will be useful and will inspire many of you to apply for the Chevening Scholarship. राजू केंद्रे, निवेदिता और मंजर, आप और आपकी सारी एकलव्य टीम का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपने ये सेशन ऑर्गेनाइज कराने के लिए. आई थिंक पिछले कुछ महीने काफ़ी मुश्किल रहे हैं हम सब के लिए, और आई होप यू एंड योर फैमिलीज आर ऑल सेफ and continue to remain safe. So coming back to Chevening, Chevening scholarships are for creating global leaders. That's the tagline that we use for Chevening. And आप जिस भी फील्ड में हैं, एक लीडर की सही पहचान है कि वो दूसरों को इंस्पायर करें. And that is why this session today is so significant. I think राजू केंद्रे अभी खुद भी UK नहीं गए हैं, लेकिन उनकी कोशिश यही है कि आप में से कई और इसी साल Chevening के लिए अप्लाई करें और ये स्कॉलरशिप जीतें. So well done, Raju. I think for the last few years, our objective has been to introduce Chevening to more and more bright young people from across the country. बहुत से ऐसे ब्राइट यूथ और प्रोफेशनल्स हैं जो छोटे शहरों में रहते हैं, Tier 2, Tier 3 cities में रहते हैं, and we want many more from among those to apply for Chevening. Last year, 34% of scholars, and this year, over 50% of scholars who are from smaller towns and Tier 2, Tier 3 cities, and some of them first generation learners have been selected. And we are so pleased with this outcome. तो अगर आप बड़े शहर में नहीं रहते हैं, उसका ये मतलब नहीं है कि आप ये स्कॉलरशिप के लिए अप्लाई नहीं करेंगे. कोशिश जरूर कीजिए, and we are here to help you. The alumni are here to help you, and so many of these bright young scholars like Raju will definitely help you take your dreams further. So I'm going to use a presentation. There is so much to talk about Chevening, but ये मुझे एक दिशा दिखाता है. अगर मैं एक presentation use करूँ, it keeps me on track. So I'm going to request Manzar to start the presentation. Thank you, Manzar. So I'm just going to give me a minute. I think I probably can switch off my video. Yeah, great. So what are these Chevening scholarships? So the scheme began in the year 1983. So 38 years, for 38 years now in India, we have been offering the Chevening Award. It's fully funded by the FCDO, and 160 countries में ये available है Chevening scholarships. And you get your Chevening scholarships to study for a 1-year master's degree in any subject in any UK university. So इसका मतलब है करीबन I think 12,000 से ज़्यादा courses हैं जिनके लिए आप apply कर सकते हैं, और 150 से ज़्यादा universities हैं UK में जहाँ आप apply कर सकते हैं. So we don't draw any walls around to tell you what you can study or where you can study. If you can move to the next slide, Manzar. So in the next slide, yeah, perfect, thank you. So what do we look at? Now, there are no typical Chevening scholars that we are looking at. We are looking at people who have passion, who have ideas, who have the leadership ability to create a better future for your community, your state, or your country. And that is why it is important and mandatory. जरूरी है कि आप ये कोर्स खत्म करने के बाद अपने देश में वापस कम से कम 2 साल तक काम करें. जो आपने सीखा है यूके में, आप उसको आके उसका इस्तेमाल करें अपने देश के लिए, और उसके बाद अगर आप कहीं बाहर भी जाना चाहते हैं तो उसके बाद आप जा सकते हैं. लेकिन 2 साल कम से कम आपको अपनी कंट्री में वापस आना ही है चीवनिंग स्कॉलरशिप को लेके. And if you can just move to the next slide, please. Great. So who should apply for a Chevening scholarship? So there are just a few criteria, eligibility criteria that we look for. One, of course, is that you should be a citizen of India. You must have an undergraduate degree. So अभी applications फिलहाल खुल गए हैं, last week खुले हैं, और ये 2 नवंबर तक खुले रहेंगे. जब आप एप्लीकेशन भरना शुरू करेंगे तो जरूरी है कि आपकी जो पोस्ट ग्रेजुएट डिग्री है वो आपके जो आपने एग्जाम्स लिए हैं वो आपके कंप्लीट हो जाने चाहिए. तो अभी आपके एग्जाम्स अगर मार्च में हैं अगले साल, तो फिर आप एलिजिबल नहीं हैं इस समय चीवनिंग के लिए अप्लाई करने के लिए. तो उसका ध्यान रखिएगा. अगर आपके रिजल्ट्स नहीं आए हैं और वो 1-8 महीने में एक्सपेक्टेड हैं, 1-2 महीने में, तो आप ये एप्लीकेशन भर सकते हैं. यू शुड हैव एटलीस्ट 2 years of work experience. और ये वर्क एक्सपीरियंस भी बहुत फ्लेक्सिबल है. सो you could have done voluntary work, you could have done paid, unpaid internships, you could have done part-time work. So any kind of work that you may have taken on after your graduation or even during your graduation, or so all of that is eligible. So in fact, do visit the website. There is a system in which we calculate the number of hours. It's a very simple system, and you will be able to find out whether you are eligible or not. But remember, we are very flexible when it comes to the kind of work experience, how you've gathered your 2 years of work experience. And it is also important that you should not have received a UK government funding to study in the UK prior to this. So this is just really very simple, a few points on your eligibility. The next slide, please. Now, in the application, we ask you to understand what you wish to study. We ask you to tell us about 3 universities and 3 courses that you're interested in the UK. And after your application is complete, we want you to get at least 1 unconditional offer from the universities that you mentioned in the application. उसके लिए आपके पास बहुत टाइम है. अगर आपने जैसे अगर आप अभी एप्लीकेशन अपनी लिख रहे हैं नवंबर से पहले, तो आपके पास नेक्स्ट ईयर जुलाई तक का टाइम होगा जब तक कि आप एक अनकंडीशनल ऑफर आपको किसी यूनिवर्सिटी इन द यूके से मिलनी है. So there's lots of time. You have about a good 6, 7 to 8, 9 months actually, depending on when you start the application to get that offer. There is no English requirement for Chevening. So IELTS या TOEFL लेने की आपको Chevening के लिए जरूरत नहीं है. We assess the language mostly during the course of the interview. But हो सकता है कि जिस आप यूनिवर्सिटी में अप्लाई कर रहे हो उनकी जरूरत हो कि आप IELTS और TOEFL का जो कोर्स मिनिमम रिक्वायरमेंट है उसको फुलफिल करें, तो उसका ध्यान रखिएगा. वो आपको फिर रिक्वायरमेंट फुलफिल करनी पड़ेगी. Can we have the next slide, please? Now, this is an extremely important question, and that is what makes Chevening very special also. It's a fully funded scholarship. So it covers your tuition fee, your living allowance. So we pay for your accommodation, we pay for the economy return flight to the UK. And in addition to this, we also give a daily allowance, which takes care of your day-to-day existence. And of course, the visa fee is also paid for. So, and I know of a large number of scholars actually who've been to the UK and who have not, who budgeted really well and have been able to save money from this award and also travel around the UK. So, so it's extremely generous offer indeed. And there is something that is mentioned here, which I should tell you about, is at the bottom of the slide, we've spoken about a cap. So all the courses in the UK that you choose, they should be Chevening approved, and most of them are. So those are fully funded, except for an MBA. For MBA, we have a cap. We pay only up to £22,000, and the rest of it will need to be paid by the scholar if the course is more expensive. And this is largely because I think there are a large number of business schools, very good business schools in India. And in terms of when we're looking at specialized education that the UK excels in, I think we feel an MBA does not really kind of fall under this particular purview. There are lots of courses in business, in finance, which are covered, which are fully funded, but not an MBA per se. So keep an eye on that as well. If we can move to the next slide, please. Yeah. So what else does the Chevening offer? So this is in terms of what the award looks like. Now, every year, there are about 1,500 scholars chosen from 160 countries that I mentioned earlier on, who will be with you should you be chosen for the Chevening Scholarship. And I think there are loads of opportunities that are created कि आप इन सभी जो 1500 लोग हैं 160 देशों से UK में, आप उनसे नेटवर्क करें, उनसे मिले. ऐसे बहुत से इवेंट्स, एक्सक्लूसिव इवेंट्स प्लान किए जाते हैं, टॉक्स हैं, एडवेंचर्स हैं, विजिट्स हैं. So the whole idea is कि आप you should become a global citizen in the sense that you should know more and more people from around the world. You should start thinking globally, and hopefully it broadens your horizon to start looking at collaborating with people across the world and seeing what is happening in the rest of the world as well. So I think that's an extremely important objective of Chevening, and that is why this absolutely wonderful these wonderful platforms are created, जिसमें आप बहुत सारे लोगों से आप अलग-अलग देशों के लोगों से आप मिल सकते हैं. और ये सारे इवेंट्स प्लान होते हैं ताकि स्कॉलर्स के पास हम समझ सकते हैं बहुत टाइम नहीं होता है, पढ़ाई में भी बहुत टाइम लगता है, 1 साल का कोर्स है, बहुत इंटेंसिव कोर्स होता है. So all of these things are planned to make your life easier and to make sure that you experience the UK culture in a very organized manner and get to meet as many people as possible. The next slide, please. So right, I think there was one slide that I think kind of overlapped, was about the number of alumni that we have. So we have 3,300 alumni in India. I think Richard ने शुरू में बताया था आपको, और 50,000 टोटल दुनिया में चीवनिंग alumni हैं अभी तक हमने जिनको अवार्ड्स दिए हैं. So it's a wonderful community of people जिनके साथ आप नेटवर्क कर सकते हैं. This was in the last slide, पर मैं आपको ये बताना मेरे लिए बहुत जरूरी है कि कितनी अच्छी बढ़िया community है ये. So to the application actually, so this is how should you prepare and write your application. So it's a simple application form, but we would strongly advise that you spend a lot of time thinking and writing this application. There are 4 short essay questions, and I will take you through those 4 questions. But I think before that, it's extremely important to also understand when you write these questions, be honest. Don't try and write what somebody else may have written or somebody else is writing. We want to listen to your story. And so make it truthful, make it honest, because I'm sure it will be a wonderful story, and your dreams will be wonderful. So share your dreams, share your aspirations with us at this point. So the 4 questions are, the first question is on leadership and influencing. So what we're looking for obviously is, through Chevening, we are trying to create global leaders. So इस topic पे बहुत focus है कि आप किस तरह के leader हैं और किस तरह के leader बन सकते हैं. तो अपना previous कोई भी experience के बारे में हमें एक example दीजिए. Don't try and do too many things. एक example लीजिए और बताइए कि आपने जब आप एक लीडर बने हो, जब आपने एक टीम को मोटिवेट किया हो, इंस्पायर किया हो, और आपने लीडरशिप या इन्फ्लुएंसिंग स्किल्स दिखाए हो, तो क्या स्किल्स थे जो आपने दिखाया, कैसे आपने लोगों को कन्विंस किया, कैसे आपने हाउ डिड यू अचीव व्हाट यू वांटेड टू अचीव थ्रू दिस एग्जांपल. So take us through an example of this. The next question is about networking, and I think I cannot emphasize enough on the importance of networking in Chevening. I mean, हमने अभी जितने भी आपको स्लाइड्स दिखाए हैं उसमें हमने कई बारी आपको बताया कि इसमें 160 देशों से लोग हैं, प्लस यूके के तो बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स हैं जो यूके में हैं. उसके अलावा 1500 स्टूडेंट्स चीवनिंग के होंगे, स्कॉलर्स जो चीवनिंग के होंगे. सो ये इतनी सारी अपॉर्चुनिटीज हैं नेटवर्किंग की. तो हम चाहते हैं कि जो स्कॉलर्स हम चुने वो नेटवर्किंग को समझें कि नेटवर्किंग में उनको क्या करना है, वो किस तरह की नेटवर्किंग करना जानते हैं. तो उसका एग्जाम्पल दीजिए कि आपने किस तरीके से, आप जिन लोगों को जानते हैं, आपने किस तरीके से अपना नेटवर्क का इस्तेमाल किया है वो चीज हासिल करने के लिए जो अदरवाइज कुड हैव बीन वेरी चैलेंजिंग. So give us an example and tell us through this question how you can be a great networker, how you have been one, and how you hope to be one in the future. So that's why this question is important. The third question, of course, is going to be on study in the UK. So you have chosen UK to study, and we obviously want to know why the special interest in the UK. So do remember that एक तरफ आप लिखेंगे कि आपने वो कोर्स क्यों चुना है जो आप पढ़ना चाहते हैं, वो भी बहुत जरूरी है इस क्वेश्चन में आपको बताने के लिए. But it's also important to tell us why the country UK. What is it about the country that attracts you and that you have chosen this country to study in? So keep your answer in a manner in which you focus on UK and on the courses and the university that you've chosen. The last question is about your career plan, and so this is a great time to actually reflect and think कि आप जो पढ़ना चाहते हैं आप वो क्यों पढ़ना चाहते हैं, आपके क्या career goals हैं, and how will you achieve them. So I think a lot of us go through life, we just keep doing things as they happen. A lot of us don't plan ahead, and this application is a wonderful way in which you sit down and you plan your life, that this is what I want to study, and this is what I want to achieve. This is my short-term goal. This is my long-term goal. Where do I see myself in 20 years? So, wo ho ya na ho, that's besides the point. But I think it's extremely important to have a plan, and at least a plan to follow. So that's the so those are the 4 questions that we have. The next slide, thank you, Manzar, is the community. So we've spoken about the India community. Once again, we are speaking about the 50,000 alumni from around the world. The network is huge. Like I said, there is no typical Chevening scholar in the sense that we don't look at somebody ki wo is field se hona chahiye ya wo us field se hona chahiye. That is why the kind of network that exists, irrespective of what your area of interest is, as long as you're passionate, as long as you have ideas and you wish to do something, you will find like-minded people and you will find a place for yourself in the scholarship. So that's why our alumni are, whether it's politics, business, law, media, think tanks, civil society, you will find a lot of people from across these sectors who are part of the Chevening network. The next slide, Manzar. In addition to that, of course, there are a whole range of benefits. Now, how do you get connected to these 50,000 people? There are a large number of platforms. There are newsletters. There is a platform called Chevening Connect, where you can find like-minded people. So once you are in the UK, agar aapko ye award milta hai, and the 1 year that you spend in the UK, you will already become a part of this Chevening Connect. So you can start finding like-minded people ki आपके फील्ड में कौन कहाँ पे काम कर रहा है, किस देश में काम कर रहा है, उसने कैसे स्टार्ट किया अपना काम, क्या challenges थे, कैसे उसने उनको how did he deal with those challenges. So all of that you can start learning from each other through these wonderful platforms that have been created, and of course just a whole lot of other activity that I spoke about, the alumni activities that will be planned and will be organized for our Chevening scholars. Lots of hand holding. So there is a lot of fear in our minds sometimes of traveling to another country, and a lot of fear in our minds and in the minds of our parents. But I think one thing I'd like to say from the Chevening perspective is that there's a lot of hand holding. So from the time that you get the award, there is a lot of hand holding. You're given directions on how to proceed, where should you stay, lots of advice on how you should travel. And when you are in the UK, we do a lot of things we're always on the lookout that our scholars are comfortable, and there is no time when they feel that they are by themselves or they feel alone or insecure. So that's the benefit of being also a Chevening scholar. Could you go to the next slide, Manzar, please? Great. So I think while it's coming on, it's still not visible on my screen. Yeah, there it is. So notable Chevening alumni, I think जब Richard ने शुरू में आपसे बात करी थी, तो he mentioned a few names of people who are part of this community, and so these are some names. In fact, जो हमारे Prime Minister की जो नई cabinet अभी जो reshuffling हुई थी, उसमें 4 minister हैं जो Chevening के fellows हैं. And Niti Aayog ke jo CEO hai Amitabh Kant, lots of people from the media, lots of people from the industry, people from the civil society, innovators, scientists, people from the defense, the police, lots of senior influential people today in India are a part of this community. So if you do get an award, that's the wonderful community that you will get to join. Can you go to the next slide, please? So these are some of the websites and our handles for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, etc. So take a picture of this, follow these, and a lot of information keeps coming up on this as well. In the sense, it gives you a timeline of what you should be doing at this point in time, even when you're writing your application. What are the tips, and how do you write a good application? How do you apply to universities? And lots of tips keep coming up. So keep following all of these handles as well if you want to know more about the program. Lots of our alumni also write on these handles. And the application timelines in the next slide, we've already spoken about it in the beginning. 3rd November se leke 2nd November tak ki dates hain application. So to make sure that those of you who are ready with your 2 years of work experience and your graduates, please do apply, and we will be very excited to see applications from as many of you as possible. In the end, I'm going to touch upon, this is the last slide, and I think there's a very important, so this is whatever I've spoken about so far has been about these scholarships. which is for the one-year program, a one-year master's program in the UK. इसके अलावा we also run fellowship program. So आप में से अगर कोई ऐसे हैं जो कि mid career professionals हैं या senior professionals हैं, तो उनके लिए ये shorter thematic courses हैं जो 2 से 3 महीने तक के की लंबाई के हैं. And इसमें भी look at people from science and innovation. उस program का नाम है, वो first program है, which is called the Chevening Research, Science and Innovation Leadership Fellowship. ये University of Oxford में 3 महीने का कोर्स है. इसमें हम 12 लोग चूज करते हैं इंडिया से और 2 लोग श्रीलंका से, जो ये 14 लोगों का एक ग्रुप जाता है इकट्ठे. ये पूरा प्रोग्राम इन्हीं के, ये जो सारे फेलोशिप्स हैं, दिस होल प्रोग्राम इज डिजाइन्ड फॉर this particular cohort only. So you don't go and join any program. The whole program is designed for these mid-career professionals in India, and the first one runs at the University of Oxford. The second program is the South Asia Journalism Fellowship, where we look at journalists who are mid-career or senior journalists with a minimum of 7 years of work experience, also in the first one and in the second one. And all fellowships actually. So we look at 7 years to 10 years of work experience, and this course is run in the University of Westminster. ये एक 2 महीने का course है, और इसमें there are journalists from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and Maldives. So there are 7 from India and a total of 17 journalists who go for this program. We have a program called the Chevening Cybersecurity Fellowship, which is very popular with our police officers, with people in the industry, our defense service officers, lawyers, and people from the bank, etc. So this program it runs at the Cranfield University, the Defense Academy in Cranfield University. It's a 3-month-long program, and all of these programs actually have been running for 8 to 10 years now. The last program is actually slightly unique. This is our oldest running fellowship. We call it our Flagship Fellowship. It's been running for 25 years now. And this is a program where we don't have a theme. So if you are a mid-career professional with 10 years of work experience, and you may belong to any field, but you're influential, you see yourself as someone who will go on to become a great leader, irrespective of whatever field you are in, Gurukul Fellowship is what you should be applying for. We choose 12 Indians every year and who travel to the UK for a 3-month-long program. Most of these fellowships run in the month of April, May, and Gurukul runs around September. So this year we've not opened applications for fellowships. So that's one of the reasons why I kind of spoke about it only in the end. This year we only have our scholarships open. Mainly because of the pandemic, we have we still have to send some of the older groups to the UK for these short-term programs. Unlike our scholars who have traveled every year despite the pandemic, and all of them, 100% of our scholars have gone to the UK. Our fellows, the fellowship programs are slightly different because they're not so classroom-based. There's a lot of travel, lots of networking, lots of meeting people. So it would have been very difficult to deliver these programs during the pandemic. So that is one of the reasons why we haven't opened the applications this year, and we will be sending out our last year's cohort to the UK. So that's it from me, and very happy to take questions now, if there are any, and I'm sure Raju will join me in also answering some questions.
Yes, Nivedita?
Yes, thank you, Supriya ma'am, for that very, very elaborate and comprehensive presentation. During your presentation, we tried to answer most of the questions in the live chat itself. So apart from that, I believe that there are 2-3 more questions which need a lot more clarity, and I think we should take it now. One is that, are there any specific tips for the interview is what they would like to understand. So how to approach the interview basically, and do they have to, what do they expect during the day of the interview, and any specific tips for the applicants?
Yeah, thank you, Nivedita. So yeah, I think that's a very good question. And the interview, so there are just two stages of selection. So we have the application and then we have the interview. So it's a non-complex. We've kept it quite simple, the whole process. And I think it's what we ask in the application is most of the time what we also try and ask during the course of the interview. So our questions are also aligned to understanding leadership abilities, networking ability. Why do they want to go to the UK? Why do they want to study what they want to study, and what their career plans would be? And you'll be surprised that even though people write about it in the application, I think how you actually tell us about this during the course of the interview makes all the difference. Sometimes some really strong applications, we get some very well-written applications, but at the time of the interview, the candidates are just not able to show that passion or express that passion to the panelists. So what my tips actually would be that that is why when you write your application, be extremely honest to yourself to start with. What is it that you want to do? What is it that you really want to achieve? And when you speak about it, then that's when the passion will be very, very clear and apparent. So, so honestly, जवाब लिखिए और ऑनेस्टली जवाब दीजिए, और क्वेश्चंस वही हैं जो हम आपकी एप्लीकेशंस में हम पूछते हैं. It's just our way of we'll ask a few extra questions around those essays that you've written and try and find out more about your plans.
Great. Another question is for people coming from vernacular educational backgrounds, some of them, who have studied in the rural sector especially, are they also eligible to apply? What are their chances of making it till the interview stage?
So,
इसके addition में, sorry ma'am.
Yeah, please go on, Raju.
इसके एडिशन में मतलब मेरे जैसे हजारों जो बच्चे होते हैं या फर्स्ट जनरेशन लर्नर जिनको इंग्लिश का बहुत डर होता है, वैसे चेवनिंग में इंग्लिश का क्राइटेरिया नहीं, बट इंटरव्यू में खुद मैंने 2-3 बार ट्राई किया, मॉक इंटरव्यू दिए, तो उसके भी थोड़ा सा इस पे भी बात करना, इंग्लिश का क्या रोल होता है, कंटेंट मतलब आप क्या देखते हो इंटरव्यू में, पैनल क्या देखता है?
So to some extent, I think you're absolutely right. The requirement for English has to be there. I mean, the person needs to know basic English only because जो आप program जो course पढ़ रहे हैं वो तो English में ही होगा, and that is going to be in the UK. It's going to be taught in English, so we need that basic understanding of the language. But उसके अलावा ये नहीं है कि somebody has to be fluent in the language. वो सब जरूरी नहीं है. In fact, we have so many. I was giving you the statistics कि 50% से ज़्यादा जो scholars हमने इस बार choose किए हैं, उसमें से कई first generation learners हैं, बहुत सारे छोटे-छोटे towns और tier 2, tier 3 cities से हैं. Lots of people from the vernacular education background who have been selected. So I think we are also very pleased with the outcome, because हम लोग को भी लग रहा था कि कई सालों से जो focus था वो बहुत cosmopolitan cities पे रहा है. So in fact, when you first invited me to talk Raju, with the kind of youth and the kind of work that Eklavya does, I was extremely pleased, because this is exactly what our objective has been, to reach more and more youth who are so bright, and yet they sometimes feel कि शायद हमको English नहीं आती है, तो we are not qualified enough to apply for this award. So please, like I said in the beginning, कोशिश जरूर करिए, apply जरूर करिए, and if your English is enough for you to understand, to speak, and so that you can fulfill the requirement in the UK, then it's fine by us.
Thank you. Manzar bhai, Nivedita.
Yes, there is one more question, Supriya ma'am. It is to do with having a master's degree already, that too from a UK university. So if somebody already has been awarded in the past a UK university degree, master's degree, are they still eligible to apply?
Yes. So as long as you have not been funded by the UK government, so any of the other scholarships that the government gives, as long as it is not a UK government scholarship, but if you've done a master's before this from anywhere in the world, you're eligible to do a second master's, and or even if you've studied in the UK before this. So we sometimes get applications from people actually who or who've done MPhils, or sometimes who are already doing a PhD and they wish to then specialize and learn something more through a master's. So we get those kind of applications also.
Thank you. Manzar bhai?
Yeah, so Supriya ma'am, I had a question. Lately people have been asking, like, do we have any preference for the course? For example, it has to be in the domain of social policy or law, or I would say public policy? Does Chevening have any focus area in that sense, or is it open for all the fields when they prioritize the applications?
No, we don't. We don't have any preference at all. In fact, is the kind of applications we get there, it's wide ranging, and some of the programs, the courses that you mentioned, public policy, international law, human rights, gender studies, development studies. All of these are very popular courses, and from across these courses, like I said, 12,000 courses, you could choose any course. There are some courses. In fact, most of these courses are actually Chevening approved. But when you go to the website, there's a huge drop down that you will see. In fact, I think Raju can perhaps tell you a little bit more. And if you do come across a certain course that you wish to pursue, and it is not something that is coming in the purview of Chevening, we even then suggest that you write to the Chevening office. There is a email ID there. You write to them and tell them that I wish to apply for this, and it's not showing up as a Chevening approved course. So can you include this? And I think most of the time we've actually managed to include more and more courses like this into our Chevening purview. So don't get disappointed even if you think it is not in the drop down at all. And any university, any course is welcome.
ठीक है, थैंक यू प्रशांत, आपका गुरुकुल के बारे में कोई क्वेश्चन है? प्रशांत हमारे को फाउंडर है मैम, और हमारे मैं उसके बारे में आखिर में बात करूंगा. प्रशांत, गुरुकुल के बारे में. हाँ प्रशांत,
thank you so much, Rahul. Yes, so yeah, like I was looking for something which is open to like various field. So I saw that like a few like other mid-career professionals are from a specific field, but I think Gurukul is more more related to our work, or we can go for the same. So like, is it only for short-term programs, or can we enroll for full-time programs in Gurukul?
So Gurukul is it's a 3-month-long program. Like I said, it is designed and created for these 12 Gurukul fellows that we choose. And there is no option to do a longer or a shorter Gurukul program. So it is a 3-month-long program at the University of Oxford for these 12 people from across sectors. And you're right that you don't have to belong to a particular thematic sector. And yeah, but it is 3 months. You cannot extend this course. The fellowships are all 2 to 3 month long.
और मैम हम एलिजिबल है इसके लिए, मतलब और क्या, मतलब चेवनिंग अलुमनाई एलिजिबल है गुरुकुल के लिए, मतलब बाद में 5-10 साल बाद?
हाँ बिल्कुल है. एक्चुअली जो एक बार फेलोशिप कर लेते हैं वो एलिजिबल नहीं है उसके बाद ना कोई फेलोशिप चीवनिंग के लिए अप्लाई करने के लिए, ना स्कॉलरशिप के लिए. लेकिन जो स्कॉलर्स हैं जैसे आप हैं राजू, आप 5 साल के बाद after you finish your course, after 5 years, you are eligible to then apply for a fellowship, a Chevening fellowship.
ओके. हमारा ऑक्सफोर्ड में जाने का सपना अधूरा रह चुका है, तो हम कोशिश करेंगे फेलोशिप के थ्रू. थैंक यू मैम. तो अभी कोई क्वेश्चन मंजर भाई, निवेदिता?
I think, Raju, largely we've covered the questions that were aimed at us, and mostly also we've catered to them in the live chat. I've provided our email IDs to the audience in case they wish to connect with us, and we will be happy to organize a separate session with the audience on another day. I think for today we are in a good position to wind up, and I believe that this session was incredibly useful and informative for the applicants. Over to you, Raju.
थैंक यू निवेदिता, मंजर भाई, प्रशांत, और ह्यूज थैंक यू सुप्रिया मैम, रिचर्ड सर, राजू सर. मुझे अभी भी इंटरव्यू का वो पूरा मतलब 40 मिनट याद आ रहा है कि मैम के साथ जो इंटरेक्शन हुआ, कि 2-3 क्वेश्चन बहुत मतलब इम्पोर्टेंट थे कि हाउ विल यू कंट्रीब्यूट इन आवर नेटवर्क. तो मैंने उसका जवाब दिया था कि मतलब मैं सिलेक्ट भी नहीं हो पाया तो मेरा कोशिश यही रहेगा कि अगले डिकेड में एक 2030 तक एकलव्य के मेंटरशिप प्रोग्राम हम चलाते हैं. उसके अंदर से कम 10 लोग चेवनिंग स्कॉलर होंगे. तो मुझे आज 6 हफ्ते से कॉन्फिडेंस आया है कि जिस तरीके से मतलब मैं लोगों से इंटरेक्ट कर रहा हूँ, मतलब मैं पैन महाराष्ट्र घूम रहा हूँ, लोगों से बात कर रहा हूँ, बहुत प्रोग्राम अटेंड, मतलब यही बात रख रहा हूँ कि बहुत सारी अपॉर्चुनिटीज है. और चेवनिंग ने बहुत मॉरल सपोर्ट दिया है. मैंने इंटरव्यू में भी बताया था कि चेवनिंग इज नॉट ओनली स्कॉलरशिप प्रोग्राम, इट्स लाइक फेलोशिप प्रोग्राम. और हमारे एकलव्य में 100 से ज़्यादा जो मेंटर है वो लिव्ड एक्सपीरियंस वाले लोग हैं, फर्स्ट जनरेशन लर्नर है, वो भी मतलब वो बहुत सारे लोग TISS टाटा इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ साइंस जैसे मंजर भाई निवेदिता भी है, तो और अजिम प्रेमजी यूनिवर्सिटी IITs ऐसे डेवलपमेंट या सोशल बैकग्राउंड से है। तो ये लोग भी आगे मतलब ये मूवमेंट आगे लेके जाएंगे। और हमारा कोशिश मतलब जो फिर से इंटरव्यू का जिक्र करूंगा, इंटरव्यू में मैं लोकल टू ग्लोबल वाला जो बात किया था, मतलब एकलव्य ग्रास रूट पे हायर एजुकेशन एज ए टूल यूज करके ग्रास रूट का लीडरशिप खड़ा करने का बात कर रहा है। वैसे ग्लोबल लेवल पे एक 50,000 लोगों का नेटवर्क है चेवनिंग का, 160 कंट्री से ज्यादा। तो उस ये लोकल टू ग्लोबल पार्टनरशिप बहुत आगे बढ़ेगा। और थैंक यू मतलब FCDO मैम आपका, ये हमको इस लड़ाई में, इस मूवमेंट में आपने बहुत बड़ा मॉरल सपोर्ट, बहुत बड़ा कॉन्फिडेंस दिया है। तो हमारा जिम्मेदारी है इस मूवमेंट को बहुत ताकत से आगे लेके जाएंगे। इस प्रक्रिया में आप सभी का मार्गदर्शन लगेगा। और अभी आखिरी तक लगभग 200 से ज्यादा 200+ लोग इस सेशन को लाइव अटेंड कर रहे थे। और आगे हम मतलब जो हमारा कोहोर्ट इस बार का, उसमें से 4-5 लोग बहुत अच्छे दोस्त हो गए अभी, तो उनके साथ हम मिलकर मतलब इंडिविजुअल सेशन प्लान कर रहे हैं, SS से लेके इंटरव्यू से लेके इस। तो आप प्लीज एकलव्य इंडिया मूवमेंट यूट्यूब चैनल या हमारे गूगल फॉर्म से जुड़े रहिए। और सभी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। लॉन्ग वे टू गो। थैंक यू।
Thank you, Ratu. Thank you so much.
प्रशांत थांबवतो का लाईव्ह?
Yes.
थांबलंय का?
Has the live ended, Prashant?